you know what's crazy is if I didn't know, and it didn't come in this fucking container like this, I would not know that this is THC. I would just be like, oh, this is like quartz or something. Like
it just looks like a crystal.
I'm not going to be able to get it on camera because it's so like small.
Yeah.
You know, but like, and it's probably not going to focus if it's close up either. But
It's okay.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe let's see.
We can cut that.
It's there. No.
You think I'm going to cut this after the fact?
Welcome to Unrolled, the show where we unroll the stories, science, and culture of cannabis. Whether you're kind of curious or a connoisseur, you're in the right place. Let's get into it.
I'm here with you boys, rolling up right now. And we just did our little photo shoot, and this is so foreign to me as someone who doesn't smoke, who has been rapidly learning about all of this from you know, being part of this and just unrolling all of it. You guys started to explain to me how this all works, the differences, the way that things burn, the way that like how it can go wrong, how it can go well, all the different ways. Like, dude, I was just fascinated. I'm like, I need to stop. I need to start rolling right now because this is perfect for Unrolled. So like, dude, explain to me the fact that you can have 1,000 different rollers and there can be 1,000 different approaches to it and they can all be right. Like, how does that work?
So I guess every artist is different, right? They can paint the same canvas and their hand stroke is different. The pressure they apply is different and everything. Everybody's human. Everybody's different. Even though they're achieving the same end goal, there's different ways to attack it. And I guess that's how like I look at it is everybody's different, but there's still the one main end goal and it's rolling the best joint, the best smoke, the best tastiest joint and the best experience while smoking. That's how I look at it.
I agree.
Jack agrees.
I do agree.
Jack's locked in right now.
Yes.
I am. Jack's Picasso over here doing his thing right now. Well, dude, you were saying too, like, if you pack it too tightly, yeah, it'll look nice, but it's going to be like a brick.
Yeah.
Right?
It will. So, like, you're taking plant material that's essentially fluffy, right? And you're compressing it. The more you compress it, the more even it should burn. Like, you know, you have less airspace, less air pocket for it to hit and, like, die out.
Yeah.
If you compress it too much, though, you have no airflow, so there's no oxygen going into that product to pull the combustion in. So it'll essentially just die out. It won't stay lit. It'll, like, start running on the one side. You'll notice it'll, like, flare up on you sometimes if it's packed too tight. Like, there's a lot of different things that cause it to be packed too tight. A lot of times, if you get, like, a pre-roll off the shelf, they just put it in, like, a giant box, smother it with product, and, like, tap till it looks packed.
Interesting.
Not every run's the same. You never know what's going to be too packed and not packed enough. Like, I've had ones where I pull it out of the tube and it's, like, falling out, and I've had ones where, like, I light it and I'm, like, trying to, like, get something. You know what I mean? It's like there's that fine line in between not enough and too much, and it can go wrong pretty quick. Like, you have to go by feel.
Yes.
I don't know. Like, I can feel when this is compressed just enough. Like, when it feels like I can't push it anymore, I don't force it. I just kind of, like, just finger pressure.
Well, there's like a human touch to it that you guys are able to do because you feel it.
Correct.
But I know there's a lot of machines that just do this that, like, you're cranking out volume.
Yeah, so if you look at, like a Roll Pro. Roll Pro machines are great because they simulate like a hand roll. It's like it's not a cone shape, it's just a straight roll like a cigarette stock.
Yeah.
What's nice about those is, in theory, they should roll even across the board versus like a cone that, like, funnels down.
Yeah.
But sometimes if you put too much product in there, it rolls too tight in the paper. Like, certain papers are designed for certain sizes, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So this is a king size wide paper.
Okay.
See how wide that is.
Sure.
This is a king size slim. If you look at the difference.
Okay. Yeah.
See
so
how
you've
much
got another like centimeter almost on there.
Right. For your width. Length is the same. It's 110 millimeters, but it's 53 versus 55.
Got it.
So you're like just shy. But then you also have like these guys, the 1 1/4. What's cool about these is these are like your small. Like, look at that.
Oh yeah, it's a tiny guy right there. All right.
Compare them, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And then if you compare that to the king size wide,
Yeah, you got
You have
small.
you have
right
plenty more room. Like this would
Yeah.
be good for like a 0.5 gram, small little like cigarette size.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then this is going to be like for what we use for your larger.
big boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you can probably put like 3 grams in here, maybe more if you grind it fine enough.
God, dude.
So there's a lot that goes into it that you need to know.
Yeah. It's not as simple as just like crush it, roll it.
It can be.
Yeah.
So
But there's
like,
levels to this.
there is. So
Okay,
like
all right.
for myself, if I'm just rolling for myself, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
As long as it burns decent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I'm just like, okay, like I don't need to be precise every time, but I still am.
All right.
Like I
Yeah.
still take my time. Like I can't just roll up a joint for myself in a couple minutes. Like I still
Yeah.
take time to put the effort into it
it's-
because I
it's
want
like-
to savor it.
Yeah, it's like you're cooking yourself a meal. It's like, yeah, you could just heat something up, or like you can care enough to do it right. Maybe it's not going to be the same degree if you're like trying to win a Michelin star, right?
Right,
But you're
right,
like,
yeah.
I want this to be good. I'm going through the time to make it. I may as well enjoy it.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. Interesting. And so like, how does the technique change if you're just making something for yourself real quick versus like something real nice? Does it change?
To me, it shouldn't.
Okay.
You should always practice your best work, and even if it's just for yourself, you should satisfy yourself, just like you would satisfy a customer.
Yeah.
And why drop down the level for yourself if you're rolling the same quality every day, getting better? Who's it matter who you're rolling for?
Makes sense.
Quality's getting better.
Like, the only thing I usually change when it's for myself versus like somebody else is the tip. So
Yeah.
like for me,
Okay.
if I'm just sitting at home, I'll just use a paper tip.
Okay.
It's cheap and doesn't really like.
So explain to me the difference of the tips, because we were kind of talking about this in a podcast the other day, and
Okay.
I think we went down a different tangent. I don't think we actually. I think Dave started talking about like dab technology, but yeah, explain the difference of like tips for me.
So, Jay, do you have glass tips with you?
I do.
So Jay has glass tips. I have wood tips here.
Here's
Okay.
a glass.
So he's got a glass tip here.
And there's multiple forms of glass tips.
There is.
Okay.
So like this is a spiraled glass tip.
That's pretty cool
You can
looking.
see the spirals.
Yes.
All the little holes.
Yeah.
What that does is when you draw in on that, it makes the air vortex.
Yeah.
Essentially cooling down the smoke as you bring it in. So you can bring in more smoke.
Yeah.
It also allows the smoke to cool down before it hits your lungs. So it's an easier, less harsh hit.
Yep.
But it's also easier on the joint itself because as you're smoking it, you're not pulling super, super hard on it. You have a nice,
Yeah.
solid airflow.
Interesting.
If you overheat an infused joint like this,
Yeah.
it just goes south quick.
Okay. All right. So you got the glass spiral tip right there.
Right.
You got wood tips.
So wood tips are just cheap.
Okay.
They're cheap. They're effective.
Hollow tip.
It's a hollow wood tip. It's it's organic. It doesn't.
and
Yeah.
biodegradable.
Yeah.
So if you don't feel bad about throwing the joint away,
Yeah.
Right.
it'll break down.
Nice. That makes sense.
You don't
But,
have to worry
like,
about
with
cars running it
these-
running over glass, all that kind of thing.
You see,
Makes sense.
you see they're hollow.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So like, obviously, if you put this together right now with product inside, you open it up, you take a hit, you're gonna suck all that product into your mouth. There's nothing in there to like buffer that,
Right. Filters.
which is where these little filter papers come in. So like, I'll use one for this example. I usually use like 2 or 3, depending on like how fine I grind the flour, what's in it,
And that
because
can also affect your
it
airflow.
changes airflow.
The
So,
more
like,
paper you put in, now the more blockage you have.
There's levels to this.
yeah.
shit,
So
man.
like, so depending on the flour, like if I know how the flour smokes, I can be like, okay, this flour smokes like this. I'm only going to use 2 papers inside this tip.
Yeah.
Or like I have flour that I'm like, this stuff burns a little quicker. I want 3 just to restrict that airflow a little bit so you don't suck it down too fast, overheat it, burn it.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah,
So, but the glass spiral tip, you correct me if I'm wrong. You don't need a filter.
Nope.
Okay.
No, because
Okay.
it's already like spiraled.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So
But they do make the same hollow glass, and
Okay.
you will need a filter of some sort in there.
Yeah.
and you can buy them with filters already in them. Like they
Yep.
have the papers already in there for you, and that's that just adds a little more expense to it.
Yeah. And I guess you get less control if there's a filter already in there. Right.
Correct.
Like you're
Like,
saying,
you
if you
don't-
know
your
this
airflow
flour
is set at that
burns faster, then
Right.
you're working with what's already in there.
So like essentially, you
Got
take
it.
that little paper and you just fold it accordion style. Obviously, there'd be like 2 of these in here, and then you just place it in here.
Yeah. That makes sense because I
just expect.
saw it earlier when I was taking the photos, and then I've seen it like in other photos or just stuff that you've shown
Yeah,
me.
and like so these
Now
are
it
just
makes sense.
the ones I'm doing now are just for me.
Yeah.
So like I'm just using a regular paper tip and I'm just gonna roll a normal little joint with it.
Did you intentionally do like a pot plant? Like
No, but it just came out that way, didn't it?
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it just came out that way.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, I buy them. You buy them by the book. Like I have
Yeah.
stacks of them here.
It was just cool seeing you walk into and like, let me break down my little workshop right here.
Yeah, like you'll notice.
Yeah.
Like I use the element wide papers.
Uh-huh.
I have packs of them in here. We buy them by the case. I have
Yeah.
Bob Marley papers in here. I have vibes.
The different papers also are different material.
Yep.
Some are unbleached, some are bleached so that they're white.
Okay.
So depending on the smoker, they
Yeah.
might not want a bleached paper.
Yeah,
What
like
would the difference be between a bleached and an unbleached paper?
unbleached is more natural.
More natural.
So,
Me,
like-
smoking, I haven't noticed a difference personally.
Mm-hmm.
Some people will say that you can taste it. Some people say it burns different.
Yeah.
Personally, I haven't. But do you want wood papers?
Mm-hmm.
Do you want hemp papers? Do you, was rice papers?
Rice, which is what the elements
Which
are.
elements are rice?
Elements are rice. So like rice, the element papers burn so clean. There's no ash left.
Right.
The only ash that you have is the ash from your actual product itself. There's no paper
Right,
ash.
right.
Wow.
They use a natural sugar gum line. So like when you burn this gum line, it caramelizes. It doesn't burn like a chemical would burn.
Interesting.
So it's literally like taking sugar from your house
Yeah.
and just mixing it in a little bit of water, and that's how they make this glue strip.
Yep.
Wow.
So it's all natural. It's like the rice papers. They're one of the thinnest papers you can get.
Yeah.
Which leads to a slower burn time,
Right.
which leads to a more flavorful experience,
Yeah.
less paper taste. Super thin. Like when you're done, like you can almost see the product through it.
You totally can.
You know what I mean?
That's why when I said to you earlier, I'm like, this looks like art.
Yeah.
Man. Like this is cool.
And like raw elements, they're manufactured by Raw. They're the same company.
Yeah.
It's all
Got it.
all in the same, like manufactured. They have the same standards. Raw is one of the
Yeah.
best in the business.
I was going to say that's even for someone like me, like that name, that
Yeah,
logo.
so like raw blacks
Yeah.
are they're thinner, more I would say more like organic. Yeah. And then you have the
Ethereal.
ethereals.
Okay.
They're even thinner.
Wow.
They are the thinnest that they make,
Yeah.
and they are literally and non-bleached at that.
Okay.
So they're like they're natural hemp,
Yeah. Oh, that's
but
cool.
they're
Okay.
super thin.
Yeah.
Just like these elements are. The elements
Yeah.
are rice.
And then I got the phantoms here that are the rice.
Yeah, the phantoms are the rice, and these are like super thin. They're almost translucent.
Jesus.
And then like I have
You
the Bob
don't even know
Marleys.
you're smoking anything.
No. I have the Bob Marleys, which are just hemp.
Yeah.
They're just unbleached hemp.
Yep. Yeah.
But paper thickness plays a role too. Like
Oh, I can imagine.
thin papers are super hard to roll.
Yes. You have to be
You have to be
delicate.
very careful, very delicate. Like you'll rip them, you'll tear them.
Yeah.
If your hands are just the tiniest bit sticky, or like
Oh, I bet.
as you're rolling, your hands get a little
Sweaty,
sweaty.
clammy.
It might grip that paper up and tear it.
Yep.
These are like now, like they make a strong paper. Like it's you
Yeah.
know what I mean. It's a strong paper. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
like
But still, I can imagine
the
like
finesse.
Yeah.
the finesse.
Yeah. Damn.
yeah.
And
there's-
with rolling, it really does take time. Like
Yeah.
anybody can roll a joint and it smokes, but then it's the time of figuring out what works, what doesn't for yourself and for other people. That's really
certain people like certain amount of airflow. Like
Yeah.
I know I like a little bit tighter airflow
Yeah.
than a more open airflow. I feel like you get a nice like dense
thicker smoke.
yeah, like a nice dense smoke,
Okay.
more flavor. I feel like the effects are a little bit better than like a airy smoke. An airy smoke burns hotter in my opinion.
Yeah.
I translate this to like smoking cigars.
Okay.
Okay. So like if you've ever smoked a cigar, you know that there's a proper way to light it. There's a
Yeah.
proper way to like smoke it. You don't just like sit there and like hit it like a cigarette. You know what I mean? You're not like just chiefing on it the entire time. You're taking nice, slow, intentional pulls on that, letting it rest for a couple seconds in between, holding it down. Like people hold them up. They want to hold them like this.
And
Oh.
that's the
And-
thing.
No,
when-
'cause that's gonna stop burning.
So it
right?
burns. It makes it burn uneven.
Yeah.
You have your resin or your is like coming down,
Yeah.
and then the flames like hitting it. So
Yeah.
it just makes it start to run when you hit that. If you hold it downward,
Yeah.
it helps to vaporize that before it even has a chance to like res up on you.
Well, so that's where I would say, from my experience and rolling a lot of hash holes, you're not supposed to hold the hash hole this way
yeah.
at all.
Okay. Why is that?
because the cherry is a lot hotter than everything else.
Yep.
It'll boil and bake that rosin.
Yeah.
And it'll clog up before
Yep.
you even enjoy it.
Wow.
So because heat
Okay.
rises.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if the cherry is the hottest part and it's above it,
Yep.
now you're actually vaporizing, just like a puff co.
That's
or
where,
once
like,
would be.
Yeah.
You have to know the difference, like in a normal flour roll. That's one thing,
Yep.
but in a hash hole, you have like a concentrate that turns to liquid when
Yeah.
heated inside. So you have to keep that in mind too when you're burning. Like, if the roll's not right,
Yeah.
it'll go through the paper. And then you have a hot spot in your paper where it'll burn through.
Yep.
But that's like, I've seen that happen where people will hold a hash hole like this and
Yeah.
the concentrate will drip out of the end because it's just like,
Holy shit.
you know, it's
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
That'll
ripping-
clog up
Yep.
to the point where then you hit it and it is a brick because it's now turned
Yep.
all that goop into a solid.
Wow. You're just
chunk of-
blocking.
Yep.
Yeah, blocking everything, all the airflow,
Wow.
everything.
Damn.
Yeah. So that's like where you have to know the difference in like flour and
Yeah.
then like a hash hole or like some sort of other infused joint because diamonds are the same way.
Right.
A diamond infused product is going to liquefy the diamonds as you combust them. When that happens, if you're holding it downwards, it's going to leak out of the end.
Yeah.
Losing that infusion that you paid good money for.
I've always, so I actually don't know what, like, I've always heard diamonds or diamond infused. I actually, I assumed
So
it was something similar to
you know how diamonds are created.
no.
Heat and
No,
pressure.
I mean regular like
Yes, okay, yes, I do. Yeah.
You take carbon.
Yeah.
You compress it under a lot of heat, a lot of
Yep.
pressure, you get a
It
diamond.
becomes this beautiful thing.
So THC diamonds are essentially the same thing. You take a product,
Yeah.
you compress it under a lot of heat and pressure, and what
Yeah.
you get is a 99.9% pure crystallized form of THC. No flavor, no nothing to it. You're not going to taste it and be like, wow, this tastes like weed.
Sure.
Now, a
It
lot
has
of companies
no
will
taste.
add back flavors and terpenes and
Okay.
to get their different strains in that
Yeah.
way.
It's just highly potent THC in a crystallized form.
Wow.
You can put it in there like in chunks. You can crush it up into dust. You can coat it on the outside. You can do like there's so
Whatever
much
you want with it.
Pretty
I
much.
guess.
There's a lot you can do with it.
Okay. Okay.
It's just another added infusion that adds a boost of 99.9% pure
wow.
product into your.
So, what would be like the difference, I guess, in the experience or the burn or even rolling of a hash hole versus a diamond infused?
Diamond infused, in my opinion, are a little harsher.
Harsher.
Both effect wise and like while you're smoking it.
Okay.
I feel like they taste a little harsher. They're
Yeah.
a little because there's no like flavoring to them, so it's just more like straightforward.
Got it. Okay.
Also potency, like it is pure THC. So when you hit that, you're like, woof.
What's this? Uh oh. Here we go.
This is diamonds. There you go. He's got diamond.
That's insane.
Right. There's
It smells like nothing.
smells like nothing.
But that's literally like a crystal. That's,
Correct.
You know what's crazy is if I didn't know and it didn't come in this fucking container like this, I would not know that this is THC. I would just
Nope.
be like, oh, this is like quartz or something. Like
It just looks like a crystal.
I'm not going to be able to get it on camera because it's so like small.
Yeah.
You know, but like, and it's probably not going to focus if it's close up either. But
It's okay.
that's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe. Let's see.
We can cut that.
It's there. no.
You think I'm going to cut this after the fact? That's crazy. Okay. Wow.
So it makes a difference as far like if you're using quality rosin in a hash hole. Like,
Yeah.
Like Jay is more. He can elaborate better on this. He uses some of the best rosin I've ever smelled. Like this is some. Just smell it and let me know what you think.
That smells really nice.
Yeah.
Wow. Damn.
See, but that's the thing. That's pure, right out of the plant. But this is all natural process. that they
Okay.
use. It's all water
Yeah.
and pressure compared
Got
to
it.
diamonds, where they'll use a synthetic process sometimes to make diamonds. And that's the consumer's point of view. Is it man-made with chemicals or some kind of machinery, or is it handmade, man-made
Yeah.
by doing it yourself?
Yeah,
using
yeah.
all natural processes like water
Yeah.
that come from the land.
Yeah.
Good old arm work.
Yep.
Versus putting it in this synthetic machine, getting a lab to do it.
Yeah.
So a lot of it comes down to that, but also, like you said, you can smell it. You can taste it.
Yeah.
The flavor translates 100 times better through rosins and live concentrates than it does the diamonds and that.
Yeah. Damn. All right. That's crazy.
So what does this consumer want?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, what
Also, you have to look at like
factor?
diamonds are great for potency.
Yes.
If you want a super quick high, a super quick like burst, diamonds are great. They hit really, really hard, really, really fast. They wear off really fast. There's no terpene in them to carry them through. So you have a sharp rise in THC, like concentration in the blood. You shoot up.
Yeah.
You're high for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe. And then you shoot right back down. You're like, damn, not even high anymore. Yeah. Or you end up with a headache afterwards because you're like, it's too quick.
It's
Where like where a rosin still has the terpenes preserved in it.
Yeah.
Those terpenes create that entourage effect. So you have the THC working, but you have the terpenes working in tandem.
Yes.
So like you kind of like you slow cruise up.
Yeah.
And you're like, damn, this is nice. You hit that high and you like plateau for a couple hours. And then you slowly come back down.
Yeah.
And then you're like, yeah, it was nice. It's like a nice like journey versus like a super quick short high.
You truly get to enjoy and experience the full effects.
I feel like rosin is more for the rosin's for the connoisseur. Rosin is equivalent to like cigars and fine whiskey. You know what I mean? It's that like,
And like
you
diamonds
savor-
are like crushing buzz balls.
pretty much. Like
Okay.
you go to a bar.
Yeah.
You have two options.
Yeah.
You have PBR in a 16-ounce can.
Yeah.
Or you have like a Johnny Walker Blue Label.
I mean,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Both are the same price.
Yeah.
And there's a consumer for both.
Yeah. I was gonna say, sometimes I'm the consumer for both.
Like if you look at the price of diamond compared to the price of rosin, they're identical.
Really?
You can get diamonds for the same price as you can get a halfway decent gram of rosin. You know what
It's
I mean?
kind of
You're
cool knowing that it's just come down to preference and choice.
Yes.
pretty much.
Right.
You can they make diamonds in like a sauce. So it's in like a terp sauce. So it's crystallized diamonds that they just break up in littler pieces.
Interesting.
And they put it inside of a terpene-based sauce. So you're still getting that flavor from the plant.
Yeah. Wow.
And the potency of the diamond. You know what I mean? And that's like, that's just another way to kind of give the consumer what they want. Like people create these products, they find ways to make new.
Yeah.
And also from like a
Concoctions.
production standpoint, one's going to cost more to produce. Like rosin, some plants only get a 3% yield on rosin. So if you put a pound in there, you're only getting a 3% of that batch in rosin. So you're losing a lot of money. So they have to charge a higher compared to a synthetic way, like diamonds or other processes where you might get a 25 to 30% yield.
Wow. That's a big difference.
It is, especially in a profit margin perspective from the manufacturer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you look at like the way New Jersey regulates like the sales of concentrates, every 4 grams equals an ounce. So every 4 grams of concentrate equals 28 grams of flour.
Yeah.
So essentially what they're claiming is it takes 7 grams, a quarter ounce of flour to produce 1 gram of rosin. So in order to get 1 little jar of this, you need 2 jars of this.
Wow.
And that might
To
be
compress it down, or like a vaporizer, you know what I mean? This is 1 gram.
Right.
It took 7 grams of flour to make this.
Right.
When you think about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you put it in that way, I mean, it's crazy because you can visualize it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
you're
can see
taking 7 grams and putting it down into 1 little gram of concentrate.
I mean,
Which is why it's called concentrate. You know what I mean?
I always figured that, but like visualizing it makes it so much more real, you know?
And that's the thing too. The different plants and genetics produce different percentage rates of how much they're going to wash. Like a Skittles strain is like a 2%, 3%.
Yep.
Versus a lot of the strains that like the fruity strains that people
Papayas
and stuff like that.
Anything that's like anything that's like real fruity.
Yeah.
They're usually your higher washes.
Why is that?
Genetic makeup.
Yeah.
Really.
Okay.
And people have found now that sun grown is better for rosin making because it produces more trichome heads versus indoor LED. But the whole fight 5 years ago was indoors the best.
Yeah.
Indoors the best way to do
So
it.
and
It
here's
just depends, I guess. On what you
here's
want.
where
What are you growing for?
here's where a lot comes into play. So I read a lot of books on like organic gardening and a lot of books on like cannabis. I have books that I have a book that I bought that literally goes into every single makeup of all of the thousands of different like chemicals inside the cannabis plant.
Yeah.
So one of the things that it says is sun-grown, outdoor-grown cannabis will produce more terpene, which makes in like what it translates to is more flavor.
Yeah.
So sun-grown, if you grow outdoor, your terpene content is higher because it naturally produces terpenes to ward off predators, bugs, birds, like anything that's going to eat that plant.
Yeah.
So like like limonene, we recognize that from citrus fruits.
Yes.
We're like, yeah, citrus, man, this tastes so good. This was like refreshing. But like insects are like, oh my God, this is overpowering. Like I can't deal with this. They're like lavender.
Yeah.
Repels like mosquitoes and like aphids and all that kind of stuff. Like it's a naturally occurring terpene within the plant. But if you grow indoor, the plant's not stressed in an environment where it has to produce mass amounts of that.
Yeah.
Where outdoor, it does.
Aren't
You're
there-
naturally stressing the plant, and it's naturally it has to like go back to its like ancestral roots. It has to survive off of the nutrients in the ground, the water that it receives, the sun that it receives. Like
However it can get there.
You can
Yeah.
control lighting if you had to outside. It would be a total pain in the ass, but you could still do it. But it goes off that natural sun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which is why sun grown.
Yeah.
People were like, "Oh, it's sun grown. It's organic. Like it's you know what I mean. It has a higher like."
It literally has a difference, or it makes a difference.
Correct. When done right.
Yeah.
When done right.
Well, I know. Aren't there ways that you can artificially stress the plants inside, or like make them think that there's, you know, like that?
And you can also like you can do like greenhouse.
Yeah,
it's still technically
or mixed light.
Yeah, mixed light. It's technically still sun grown to a point. You're
With
just
aid
supplementing
of LED or HPS light.
Right. You're just supplementing an additional light source, or like greenhouse. If you do like a light depth, you're giving it light, and then in periods of time, like in the summer months when you have extended light, that might be the end of its light cycle for the day. So you would have to tarp that greenhouse to cut off the light, or like you would have something inside that would block all light sources, because if you get a little bit of light, that plant has a chance to react. You know what I mean? You're not
Either it could be a good way.
Yeah,
it could be a bad way.
Yeah. But I guess in those types of settings, you want to be able to dial it in and control it as much as you
Which
can.
is why outdoor is a little bit harder. Like indoor is harder because you have more variables at play. You do have equipment failures. You have like, you know, where outdoor, you're not relying on a hydroponic setup. You're likely just potted in soil.
Yeah.
A nice big
You might have a riverbed down 20 yards from your farm that's feeding this in, rain's coming in.
Yeah.
It's like indoor, you have a lot more variable to overcome. Like if you're growing and your HVAC system goes out,
right,
you're screwed. Electricity goes out, you're screwed. But like outdoor, you're running off sun. If the sun goes down, the plant's like, all right, time to go to sleep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It knows like it's done for the day. The light comes back. It's like, I need to get everything so I can grow.
Yeah.
So like you're naturally stressing it, especially on days where you don't have a lot of sun.
Yeah.
The next day you might have a lot, and that plant makes up for it. It's like, whoa, I didn't have enough sun yesterday. I'm deprived. Today I need to suck all of this up.
Yeah.
So like, just in case tomorrow I don't have enough. Same thing with rainwater.
Yeah.
Like, that's why you have root systems that are like, you'll see outdoor plants. When you go back on the other side, behind the counter is a giant book like this. Look through the pictures.
Yeah.
That's my book. It's all outdoor grown.
Okay.
You'll see like the stalks of the plants are like this big. These plants are like 8 feet tall. You'll see the people trimming them, and the buds are ginormous. And that's all outdoor grown.
That's wild.
They have pictures of them pressing the rosin from it and all that. So like you'll see, and they explain the differences in it.
Damn. So now, obviously, I think the through line here is that depending on the use case and what you're using it for, depends on how you grow, depends on how you treat it, depends on how you process it, and it kind of comes back to what you guys were saying at the beginning, which is like, depending on what your goal is of what you want out of what you're rolling, kind of depends on what you're going to use and how you're going to roll it
from start to finish.
Yeah, seriously. And so my question for you guys is like, you obviously have styles that I'm sure are similar but different from each other. How did you get to these points with these styles for yourselves, and how did you kind of, I guess, take into account like your own tastes, but also like that of other people? Like, what was the process like getting to the point that you are at now with your freaking workshops.
I used to smoke a lot just to smoke. Like I didn't care about flavor as much. I was just like, I want to smoke all day. That's all I want to do. But then you start learning about flavor and you find something that's like, it just makes your mouth water. And then you're like, damn, if I slow down and enjoy this, it'll last longer. And then I started dabbling with like rolling bigger joints, like going from like a 0.5 gram to like a 1.5 gram and going more cigar style. If you make it bigger and you let it burn slower, you enjoy the experience longer. And then it becomes an experience and not like a, I just want to sit here and smoke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like now, like I don't smoke to get high. I smoke for flavor. I want flavor. I could care less what a THC percentage is. You can give me a THC percent that's 20%. I don't care. I want. I think we're out. I want terpenes.
Yeah.
I want terpenes. Like if you can give me a 20% THC with 2.5-3% terps, I'll take it. Yeah. It's super flavorful and the effect is great. Even though you're not getting an abundant amount of THC, you're getting an overall effect that's just balanced. It's a nice, solid, like, chill vibe. Versus just like, oh, I'm going to smoke this 30% flower that has no taste to it, but I get really, really high for an hour. You know what I mean? So once I did that, I feel like it became an experience. It became like a more ritualistic. I sit down, I break out the workshop, like you said, like, you know what I mean? I have a desk in my house that this just sits on with all of my supplies. I just sit at it. I roll something up and then I'll put on a show and just, you know, I light it. I take the way I roll them. So I light the outside. Yeah. And then you take the center, you just pop it out. Okay. So it just like got it. Like a little hat. Yeah. Yeah. And then I just take my lighter like a cigar. Yep. You don't want to inhale. Nope. If you inhale with the lighter, you're actually inhaling butane from the lighter. Shit. Will pretty much kill the flavor of your So
not to derail this, but a quick question on that because you mentioned butane. So when Riley was here and he was doing the rhythmic recharge thing, he had hemp wicks. Hemp wick. Yeah. So is that even like a more like pure?
It is. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Hemp wick's great. Hemp wick is really, really good. You don't need a lot of it. No. Like a little bit goes because it burns for so slow and so nice. It's usually like they usually put like a little wax coating on it, so like it burns a little bit slower. Yeah. I will say they're good for bowls when you're lighting a joint, and especially a fat joint like a cigar style. It's not. It takes a long time to actually get that burn. It's a softer flame if you think about it. It's like a match versus a lighter. Like a lighter, you can kind of hold there. A match like burns down and starts to like go out. That's kind of how they are. They're great. Yeah. For like you said, a bowl, you can coil it on top. Yeah. And let it burn while it's on top, and that's like a really good way to light those without hitting them. You get more flavor that way too because you don't scorch everything. Right. For like a joint or anything that's like stand outish, it's kind of hard to. That makes sense. Most rollers will tell you to use a torch. Yeah. Not a standard lighter because of the difference in airflow and how hard the way I look at it. If you use a standard lighter with a soft flame, you're not necessarily scorching it because it's a softer flame. Right. It takes forever. So it's that you're just holding the flame on there longer, which is what you don't want. Right. The least amount of product you can sacrifice on the end, the more you can save for here. Yeah. So like if you have to sacrifice this tiny tip here to get it lit, I'd rather sacrifice crumbs for the entire cake, right? Yeah. Versus like you're trying to use a soft flame, and next thing you know, you're down here and it's still not lit. Yeah, yeah. And then you just sacrificed, that much of your joint. Wow. For no reason. Wow. So like when it comes to especially like hash holes and any of these bigger sized, a torch, a jet flame, butane torch, is the way to go. It's also hotter, so it burns a little bit more efficient. Yep. You're not getting as much butane. It burns off most of that butane. And they do make flameless lighters now. They do. And that's probably the best way to go as far as smoking. Yep. Like an electric arc? Electric coil. Yep. They have an electric coil. It's like, it heats up, think like the coil on top of like an old stove. Yeah. Oh. It's just like a cigarette lighter. It's just getting really hot. It gets really, really hot. And you just kind of like touch it to it and it just... Yep. Yeah. I get like an old cigarette lighter in a car, right? They work great. Wow. Or like if you're going to use a soft flame... I don't have mine on me. Raw makes a Phoenix lighter. Yeah. The Phoenix lighter is cool. It's like a normal size Bic. Okay. But it has it's got a windscreen on the top. So you can push the windscreen up for like if you're outside. Yeah. Oh wow. It's also electronic ignition, so you just click it. It's like a spark instead of a
So
flint.
it doesn't use flint.
Flint. When you light a flint lighter, you get those little like that's flint burning.
Yeah.
If you're doing that and it's sparking while you're like toasting the end of that, you're getting heavy metals in the end of that you're now inhaling.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like these are great for like a quick whatever. Like everybody uses these. They're cheap. They're efficient.
Yeah.
But at home, I'm not using this. This isn't out and about. I'm not carrying a torch with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This isn't out and about. Like I don't know. That's just there's a lot that people don't think about when it comes to like ritualistically consuming versus habitually consuming.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a big difference.
And
big difference.
And the issue is too, it's still federally illegal, so we don't know. We can't test and do much on cannabis. So we're always going to be finding out new things because no one can do the actual big research to find out. So every day people are finding new ways to light stuff, new ways to make rosins. Like the big thing now is static hash.
How's that work?
Instead of separating the trichomes through water, it's dropping the dry sift, and static electricity actually will collect the trichome heads to like static plates.
Yeah. So they will pretty much use the same electrical charge that you get when you run your feet across the carpet.
Yeah.
They'll use that to statically separate plant matter and trichome head. So like plant matter will be over here and trichome head will stick over here.
Yep.
And that's what you collect now.
Yep. People have done it in the old days with balloons. Like it used to be a thing. Yep.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Some of the best hash makers over in like Barcelona.
Yeah.
They use a big sifting table, a glove, and a balloon. They'll just rub their hand on a balloon, get the static charge, and
wow.
Yep.
Damn.
It like sucks it up like a magnet.
Yep.
Yeah. Dude, you know what?
So it's always evolving, you know.
I was gonna say, man, maybe it's kind of cool that, like, I'm sure once it's federally legal, and there can be big research on it. I know that's gonna be beneficial, but it's also kind of cool that
we don't know.
That we don't. It's just been up to like random experimentation to like figure it out.
The plant's found
quickly.
How long ago? How many hundreds of years ago? And people still are figuring stuff out. Once you think you got it, somebody else goes, no,
surprise.
Wait. Here you go.
Yeah.
So it's
wow. What's been for you guys? What's been the most interesting, like, surprise, new information or curveball or like advancement that's happened while you guys have been into the world of cannabis? You know,
there's a lot.
Yeah, I would say to me, honestly, the biggest is probably ice water hash.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll say when I first started smoking, it was cheap BHO dabs that you could get in anywhere on the street.
They were like
brown
looking. Yeah, like you looked at it, you were like, oh.
Yeah, but
it wasn't like, it didn't look that nice pale yellow, creamy butter looking color. It was like, it looked like somebody just scraped the bottom of their shoe and put it in a jar.
Yeah.
But that's all, like, that was the technology. Like, that's, everybody was just like, let me get some butane in a cylinder and I'm going to just
extract it this way.
Yeah.
Wow. Super dangerous. Super dangerous. And people were just taking chances just to make a little bit of like concentrate.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Wow.
And you're talking like prices were ridiculous.
Yeah.
For this product that, like, you didn't know what was in it. You didn't know, if they didn't vac it right, you were left over with a lot of butane. So you were like dabbing butane.
Yeah.
And not knowing it.
But so now people grow strictly for that. So it's evolved from like whole growing onto the prettiest flower, the big, nice taste, to growing strictly for washing to get the highest percentage yields, and now making new genetics with higher yields of terpenes for washing. People are making different genetics just to wash.
Wow.
So to me, I think like the rosin game is really what the biggest step.
Yeah.
And I agree.
Yeah. You agree, Jack?
I agree.
Same thing. Okay.
I would also say like grinder technology.
Yes.
I would go into that real quick because everybody used to use a standard grinder, right? And you have teeth in here. Right. Just sharp teeth that you put the product in, you just
mash it apart.
Shred it.
Yep.
Santa Cruz shredder. I mean, these are great. They make it's fluffy.
Probably one of the most well-known grinder brands ever.
I still use it.
Yeah.
I still use it.
Hey.
Everybody uses them.
Yeah, and
Every
I'm sure
smoke
there's
shop's
good
got
reason
them.
for it, right?
Yep. Yep.
But then I learned about flour mill, and flour mill is completely different. Like,
Yeah.
When you explained this to me, I was like, how does that even work?
there's no teeth.
Yeah.
So the first time I saw one, I was like, how do you grind it without teeth? It's got serrated plates up top. So like, they're just little grooved serrations, and inside is a screen. Now, like Jay's model has interchangeable screens.
Right.
Okay.
So he can do a fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can do fine, medium, coarse for different products.
And
Right,
they
right.
sell all the different plates separately,
Yep.
or you can buy a kit.
Got
that
it.
way you got
Oh,
one
yeah, look at that.
through 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5 different plate styles for different. If you want to smoke a blunt,
It looks like just like a shower drain.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah, yeah.
Think like a cheese grater.
exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
So what happens essentially is you put your product in here.
Yeah.
You, with even pressure, put it right on top, and you just like back and
it's
forth.
just gonna, like-
and it'll gently roll the flour against itself and against these little like serrations inside, and it rolls it off the stems. So when I'm done with this and I open this up, there's usually just stems in here. It like rolled everything off to the size of these holes.
Wow.
And these holes are great for like, this is the medium they use. It's a standard for like joints. You can use it for joints.
Sure.
For the hash holes, I find it's a little too coarse.
Okay.
So like a fine plate would be better for that. So sometimes I'll use like a standard 2-piece.
Got it.
grinder. Just something I can like go as fine as I want. And I do that by feel. I go until there's a little bit of resistance, not much, and then I dump it out.
Wow.
If you hit no resistance, by that time it's like powder.
Yeah.
So I go just a little bit before, and usually you get a really nice, even, clean burn.
Yeah.
But everybody's used to a 2-piece grinder, a 3-piece grinder, a 4-piece grinder, which separates that keef,
Yeah.
which then can be
yeah.
turned into rosin.
Rosin.
Like you can. It's pretty much like dry sift at that point. A little bit of keef in there, like you can top your bowl with it, put it in a
Yeah.
joint. It's just trichome heads.
Yeah.
Right.
So like the 3-piece doesn't collect that.
Right.
It mashes it all together in the flour. I like that because I'm like, I want everything.
Yeah.
I don't need to
Yeah.
save it.
Yeah.
But like a 4-piece, some people save all of that.
Yeah.
And they're like, I have a whole jar of keef. And I'm like, cool. Why didn't you just smoke it while you were smoking everything else?
The bottle of that's 4 months old.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. I was
Yeah.
gonna say I have a friend who was like who would do that. He'd be like, oh yeah, I have all the keef.
Yeah.
I'm just like, okay, that's cool. Go for it, I guess. And now I'm hearing this. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't sound like the move.
Yeah. No, I like to leave it all. I like to leave it all in there and get everything that the plant has to offer out of it.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
why do I need to separate it? Because then I'm going to forget about it.
Yeah.
And then, like he said, like 4 months later, I'm going to look in the bottle and be like, wow, I have all this keef that's dry and not potent anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just been exposed to air the entire time.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything with it.
Yeah.
On top of that, if you're smoking for flavor, I don't personally want to smoke 17 different flavors of keef.
Yeah.
All in one.
Because then
Yeah.
it's just going to be overwhelming.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Wow. Crazy. Okay. So to wrap up for you guys here, what in your in your hopes looking forward, with all the technological changes and all the different preferences and all that type of stuff, what's one thing that you would love to see like the next iteration of, or like the next advancement of, with maybe either with just cannabis overall, or with like specifically rolling based on your preferences? What's the next step that you guys want to see?
I don't know of necessarily a next step specifically, but I would love to see a new form of like pre-roll. Whether it's because at one point somebody came out with the hash hole. Somebody had to put rosin into the weed, roll it up, and go, this is now a hash hole.
Yeah, like I started doing it completely different. Like most people roll it up like they hand roll it. I used to inject it. So like that was a whole nother, like when we first started doing this, when me and Dave first started doing this, like we had liquid live resin. So it's like it was a little more liquidy, but if you let it cool down, if you heat it up, it gets like super liquidy. I could suck it up in a syringe. And I just used a wide like 8mm, 10mm tip, and I would roll a joint with the tip in the middle of that. So I would roll it by hand, and then I would take that, I would leave the tip in there, I would hook the syringe to it, and I would fill that up. So the entire thing was filled with live resin. And then we would pop it out. I'd set it aside. And after I got them all done, I would let them cool cool back down. I'd heat it up to like, I think I got to like 105, 115. I had a little like reptile heating mat. I'd set the jars on there, stir it with a toothpick, and then I would do like, it was super slow, not efficient. You'd have to soak the syringe, like the syringe tips were stainless steel. They were food grade. You had to like soak them, get them clean, brush them out, let them dry. So I had like 6 sets of them. They're not cheap. They're not efficient. And then the syringes are medical grade syringes.
Yeah.
You're sucking the stuff up with it, and then one and done.
Yeah.
So you're tossing those, and you're buying like 20, 30, 40 of those at a time.
Damn.
Just to be able to do like something that in this market, like in our market here, we don't have.
Right.
So it's like we're trying to create a product and get it out there. And I'm just like, hey, this is what I came up with what we have. Let's try it.
Yeah.
Then it evolved into like, okay, well now we have this like a little bit firmer resin, rosin, butter, batter, like all these different types. So it's like, we'll start using this. And that's when we started hand rolling everything and putting it in there. And that's pretty much where we ended up where we are today.
Yeah.
So technology in that sense, like I want to see new ways of doing what we're doing, but more efficient.
Yeah.
Like as a hand roller, it's not efficient.
Yeah.
It's not, but it is a craft.
Yeah.
It's not efficient at all.
Yeah.
There's a reason why manufacturing companies have these machines that cost tens of thousands of dollars. It's efficiency.
Yeah.
But are you smoking and selling?
I just want to see things
Or
more
do you
geared
want
towards
something nice quality that's hand rolled, that's taking the time to perfect, and you know that you're going to get
like
a good
a cigar.
smoke, like a cigar.
People will pay thousands for a cigar. Thousands for one cigar. You know what I mean? There's a market for it.
Yeah.
People want that. So you have to target that market and get those connoisseurs, those consumers that want a high quality product that is hand rolled. Like it's a quality source. You know what I mean? Like you sourced everything yourself.
Yeah.
It's the best flour, the best rosin, the best paper, the best tip. You hand roll it, you give it to somebody, they smoke it, they're like, wow, this is great.
Yeah.
And they want more.
Damn.
You create that market.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So something to aid hand rollers in efficiency, technology that would aid us in doing our job better.
Even if
That
it's
makes
something
sense.
for prep, that just to make our lives a little bit easier, have all the joints laid out for us in some kind of way.
Yeah.
Any new technology, like you said, make it sufficient.
Yeah.
Doesn't even have to be the actual rolling aspect.
Yeah.
But can be the prep and the material.
Yeah.
Is there something that can be made like the flour mill that's not a shredder, that's not going to tear apart the flour, that's going to do it the right way that we want it to make our lives a little easier without hand milling for hours on end?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I like to test theories because, like I said, I love my Santa Cruz. Like I absolutely love it. But there's theories that any kind of grinder that has teeth tears the trichomes apart. Versus like a mill, which is supposed to leave them intact.
Right.
I'm not a scientist, so I can't confirm.
But I am something of a scientist myself.
Right. So like what I do is I like to like I'll run a handful through the mill and smoke them, and then I'll run a handful through my Santa Cruz and smoke them, and I just want to see if I notice a difference in like the effect. With the 2-piece, I try to test like a coarse grind versus a medium versus a fine to see which is more potent. They claim a fine grind loses potency because you're crushing the trichomes down. But in theory, you get a better burn, more surface area.
Yeah.
If you can combust something in a more surface area, take a piece of wood, for example, set it on the ground.
Yeah.
You take up, a little tiny section, turn it into sawdust, and throw it out there. You cover more surface area.
Yeah. Yeah.
The more surface area, the more evenly combusting, like more evenly it combusts. The more potency you have, you're getting more of that plant matter, more of those trichomes versus like a chunkier grind. You may miss some.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Damn. All right. So, you may not be a scientist, but the approach is pretty scientific. So, dude, that's awesome. Thank you guys for imparting your hand rolling wisdom.
Yeah, of course.
And you guys are wells of knowledge, and I appreciate the hell out of you for enlightening me a little bit. Next time I see someone lighting with a Bic lighter, I'm going to school them.
Please do not inhale.
Yeah, that's right. Wait.
Please, yes, please do.
Oh, yeah. Well, good stuff. Thank you, boys. Appreciate you.
Yeah, man. Thanks.